Hello, Busy Bees. I'm your Busy Bee Budget Buddy. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'll be doing a how to get started video. Before we get started, I wanted to take a moment to say that this is my own experience that I'm sharing with you and is not meant as advice of any professional sort. You are more than welcome to follow along on my cash stuffing journey. My goal is to inspire you to take control of your own finances, however that looks for your situation. Let's get to the video. I wanted today's video to be a what I would do if I were to be entirely starting over. You'll need some information and supplies, which we'll go over, but most things that you need, you likely already have or could get for very inexpensive. So as far as supplies go, you're going to need either a pen or a pencil, highlighters, preferably one for each payday that you'll have of the month. You can also do this with different colored pens if that would work better for you, if that's something you have more readily available rather than a list of or a stack of different highlighters. You'll need a list of bills so that way you know exactly when everything happens that comes out. You'll also want to know roughly when your paydays are. If you're going to be doing the cash stuffing method, envelopes are also important. If you have like bills that come in the mail that have an envelope that come with them to like send the paycheck back to that aren't labeled for anything, you could also use those. So that's another way to do that for inexpensive. And you also need a calculator. I'm just going to use the one that's on my computer because I don't know where my normal one is. That's okay. I usually use the one on the computer anyway. So the things you need to know: how often you get paid. You need to know roughly how much you're going to make for those paydays. You can also do the payday portion closer to the payday once you actually have that information. So if your paychecks are a little more varied because you work or you get paid like on the 20th and the 5th, like I used to get paid, those aren't always equal dates, so they won't be the same pays. However, if you're more salary and everything is going to come out exactly the same, you already will know roughly what your paycheck is going to be anyway, so that can be helpful there. You're going to want to know when each bill is due, as well as how much it is. You also need to know the frequency of that bill. So if it's monthly compared to yearly, like vehicle registration tabs, or even more gap of time in between, like getting your license renewed. Some people do it every year, some are 6, and I think recently my state added in 8 years. So we're not going to be putting that down, but I do have it on my calendar that will notify me. Again, you'll need to know how much each bill is. Exact amounts are better, but you can go off of a guesstimate. As close as you possibly can for the guesstimate is going to be your best bet. If you are the type of person that likes to do gifts for holidays or for birthdays or other special occasions, you might want to put that on your calendar as well so you can budget for a gift or a card. Same with doctor's appointments. If you know that you have doctor's appointments coming up and you'll have a copay or prescriptions related to that, anything like that, you probably want to go ahead and add that into your calendar so you can have a more accurate view of what your budget needs to look like. Once you have that information and your supplies, you have a good base to get started with. I would then take that information and put it all into my calendar. So that's what we're going to do now, so you can have a good example. So I know that on the 1st, rent is typically due. I have other house bills that are due. I have a kids activity that we pay for monthly that we will add in there. And also books. We have a subscription to a couple of subscriptions, one for me and one for my husband. And so I will put that on there as well. I'm also going to add in the amounts. So rent for me, we're going to add $200 here. I know that this is paid. So what I'm going to do is actually, we're going to wait on that. So we will actually add in the bills first. So we have house bills that are $360. The kids' activities is $28.17, and the books are going to be $25.11. I also know that I have different credit cards. So I believe I have a total of 6 now, but I don't have the due date yet for card number 6. I know that card number 2 is going to be here. However, I only owe $0. It's completely paid off. I have a payday every single Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and add in all of those paydays just to get those in there and taken care of. Okay, so all the paydays are in. Let's go ahead and finish the bills for the first week. So I have car insurance that comes out this day, and that is going to be $153.37. I am going to pause this really quick. I have car insurance that comes out this day. For the second week, let's go ahead and add in everything we need to add in there. So I have a couple of birthdays on the 6th. So I'm going to add those in. I want to make sure that I have a good eye on everything because I am the type of person that remembers birthdays. I'm the type of person that would like to get a birthday gift for someone if I can. However, the best way to make sure you plan that is to be able to see it, to be aware of it, and especially in relation to when your payday is, as well as other bills. So now let's go ahead and finish adding in the bills for this week. Credit card number 4, $0 because it is also paid off. Credit card number 11. No, sorry. Credit card number 1 on the 11th. I don't have 11 credit cards. I am not that savvy. We're still building. We're still building up. And that is $238. And then credit card. Let's move on to the next week. Week number 2 is done. We're on to number 3. So credit card. And this is actually credit card number 5, due on the 12th. And I could either pay $33.16, which is the, I believe that's the minimum, or I could pay, I believe it is, oh no, that is the current balance on that one, just $33. That's the current balance. And I do like to know that information because there are times where I've got something paid and I didn't pay it off quite before the interest hit. And I have the option of the minimum balance, or I have the option of the current balance, or minimum payment or current balance. I like to, as much as I can, pay the entire thing off. I also know that it is my child's birthday party on the 12th, which is something I will need to know about, because if I need to get food and drinks, decorations, a gift, those kinds of things, again, I want to be aware of it when it's going to happen in relation to my paydays and my bills. So on the 14th, we have credit card number 3. This is the one that has a minimum or the entire balance. So that is going to be either $29 which is the min, or it'll be 141, and I think it's 19, which is the current balance. We also have a birthday this day, and I have an appointment. So I'll need to be aware of if I have anything that I need to pay, like a copay or anything like that. On the 16th, my family has a family gym membership. So it's a little bit more expensive than it was when I was going to like Planet Fitness. But I get daycare this way, and my husband also gets to work out. So there's also an appointment this day. And that is everything for that week. So now I wonder if there's a way to close this without stopping the recording. Okay, we're good. I had to check and make sure I wasn't gonna mess up my video. Okay, on the 21st, I do have a car wash membership, which I know probably sounds silly, but it's a small, inexpensive activity that my toddler actually really enjoys. That isn't like a sugary treat or something like that. Plus, it keeps my car in better condition, so I'm happy to pay this. Next, we have an ink subscription for my computer, and that is $13.65. I have 2 birthdays. So we'll add those in. Payday 25th, we have a program subscription. I believe that's $14.21. I also have a subscription to Audible. My husband is a very avid book listener and could probably go through so many books in a month. I don't go through it nearly as fast as he does, but that's okay. So the other thing I like to do is think about when I have something that is less frequent. So for example, I know, let's see, so this is July. I don't think I have anything for August. Let me see. Let me look at my notes. Oh, actually, I do have something for August. So I have dogs and they need vaccines. So dogs, vaccines. And that apostrophe needed to go here. And I also know that in October, my vehicle will need new tabs. That being said, I will likely get the information for it sometime in September. So I'm just going to add a note here on the 1st. Look for tab renewal. That way I can plan that ahead since that's a little bit more expensive. And then I also, sorry, my notes and everything are falling. In June, I believe it is the 19th, I use Headspace. I am an avid user. I am in no way affiliated with them, but I just thoroughly enjoy their stuff. I find it really helpful for my own mental health. So let's go ahead and add in roughly how much that will be. And I believe that is, because I get the yearly one, so it is $76.57. The dog's vaccines aren't usually too much because for the most part we do the vaccines ourselves. Tabs are give or take around $90. So I try to cash stuff for that over like throughout the year. And when I get the actual amount, then I will add that number there. So now we've got this really good base. We can go about figuring out exactly how much we want, or how much we need coming out of each payday. So right now, these ones are all paid. Because they are all paid, let's actually use a different color. Let me see if I can find an orange. So I don't know if this one works. It's not my favorite, but let's see. I can't really find one right now. So we'll just go with this. So I know that this is taken care of. This is taken care of. And the reason I chose orange is it tends to really be noticeable over other highlighter colors. So really you could probably use about any number of different colors, and orange tends to be able to be noticed on top that it is a different color. So I know that those are good. In terms of paydays, we're going to highlight each one because I know that these need to come out. We'll actually go ahead and highlight on this one too, on this payday. So this is going to be separated. This is going to go over here. These bills are due on this payday. And I'm going to actually do it this way as well. The nice thing is too, is let's say that you know for a fact that maybe you only have a smaller amount coming out of one check compared to another. You can also plan ahead when you see that to take more from a different paycheck that comes prior to. And then it's not so rough trying to plan each bill. So like right now, I know that for my second to last payday in July, I only have like $30-ish coming out of that. That is a very small amount. So I could add more to this paycheck for bills that would be less of a strain for later bills. Orange and pinks tend to highlight over each other pretty well. Okay, let's do some math. So right now, here's where you're going to want some extra paper. Speaking of, where is my extra paper? I think I put it away. That was not helpful of me. Okay. So I know that for payday 1, July's first payday, I made about 853 and some change. I don't remember what the change was. Actually, let me find it. Oh, I didn't add it in here. That's unhelpful. Okay, that's fine. So I know for sure it was 853, and I have car insurance coming out. For $153.37. I have 2 birthdays, a child's birthday and an adult's. Because I've already bought presents for the child, I'm going to put 0. I'm not going to budget anything for that because it's already been budgeted for. For the adult, I planned on spending about $30. You don't have to choose that amount. The amounts are what is going to fit into your budget. And if you don't have enough to budget for birthdays, if you're really scraping by, do something heartfelt for them. Like if you have the time to maybe go cook a meal for them or to make them a birthday card. Something genuine is also really nice for most people. Not everybody feels that way. I do. So then credit card number 4 also comes out of this payday. But that one is completely paid. So let's go ahead and do the math on that. So we need to take $853, and we're going to subtract 0, which will still be 853, minus 30, which is 823, and then minus 0, which is still 823. So $823 is going to be what is left of my first week's paycheck. If I want to, because that's a pretty large amount, then what I can do is start saying, you know what, I want an envelope for, we could do groceries. If you're new to cash stuffing, but this interests you, what I would recommend is starting small. Maybe just a couple to get you started. So like groceries is a good one to really get started with. Or let's say you're really into giving for birthdays. But you don't want to overdo it because it's really easy to go over, especially when you care about somebody and you see a lot of cool things that they're going to like. Those kinds of things are a good way to get started with cash stuffing. It's also a really good idea to go through and see what you typically spend money on and what you would feel comfortable cash stuffing. If you think that it would be better for you to do something that you know stays the same, like your rent. Let's say your rent has stayed the same for the last year. You know it's going to be that way till your lease is up. Then do rent. If rent is a little bit too scary to do because you want to make sure that you don't forget to put it back into the bank to get the check or however you do your rent, start with something smaller. Like say you really like coffee. Maybe budget for coffee, just a couple of things. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just get started, get a feel for it. After a month or 2, if you feel more confident, like this is really working, then add in another envelope or 2. It doesn't have to be crazy to get started. This is really the basics of what I would do if I was going to start entirely over. Is I would start with a good visual of what my bills, birthdays, appointments, and paydays are going to look like. From there, you can do the math, organize it by each payday, and then this can be your way to know, okay, if I have $823 left over, I know I'm still going to need gas for my vehicle if you drive, or you'll need some sort of way to move around. So your transportation likely isn't a zero. Most people drive a car, ride a bus. Some people just ride bikes, and that's perfect. If that works for them, that's great. However, a lot of us have transportation costs that we have to think about. You might need an oil change, maintenance on your vehicle if you drive, those types of things. I know I'm going to need money for groceries. So you're going to want to add these things in. I already know that I have that sort of money set aside. I have money ready to go for these different categories. And sometimes it's only $50 a month for gas. It hasn't been like that for a while, but that's just an example. I know I'm not going to use more than $50 a week, so I could do 50. Let's say we put 50 because I know that that will get me to the next payday. And for groceries, there's 4 of us. Let's say that we'll just do a guesstimate. We could do like 200. So that would be what? 623. Let's do the math. I don't want to do hard math. I just want to get you guys a good video. Did I close out my calculator? I might have. So say we're at 823. Gas is like 50 a week. Maybe I'm spending 200 for groceries. So that's 573. $573 that could go towards birthdays, savings, anything like that. This is what you then get to work from. You don't have to choose any of the same envelopes. It's really all about what is going to work best for your budget and your family. I hope that this is a pretty solid video for you guys on how to get started if you were to choose something from the very beginning. Like, I apologize. I'm trying to make sure I get this right for you guys. I hope that this is enough information. This is what I would use to get started if I was going to start over. It's really variable depending on your person or your personal paycheck, your different bills, your family, like what your needs are. And it also is different based on what your values are. Maybe birthdays aren't as important for you. Maybe you would rather do vacations or travel. Whatever these envelope categories are for you, this is all, every budget is deeply personal. It's all about you. Really, truly, there is no set in stone budget. It's all about finding what works for you. So thank you for being so patient with me. I do appreciate that you are all still here. That is all for this how-to video. If you want more videos like this, please let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate that. If you liked this and want to follow along, feel free to like, subscribe, comment. If you feel that there's someone out there that would get value out of my content, please feel free to share this video with them as well. I'm excited to be sharing my experience with you all. Have a great day and good luck on your own cash stuffing and budgeting journeys.